We just had a pretty amazing interview with Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, along with Sarah Bond, who's one of the top executives at Xbox. They talk about the future of Xbox, but also how Game Pass has completely stunned them with the engagement and success they've seen. This is from the GDC fireside chat that just took place. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's get right into it because this is pretty amazing stats that we see from Game Pass. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go that extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. All right, enough of that. Let's finally get into some pretty amazing numbers when it comes to Game Pass and how it's completely changed the gaming landscape across the field. This is being reported by Xbox, and these are official hard numbers coming out. We all know that Game Pass is something I've talked about extensively on this channel, and of course I have. It's become one of the best parts of gaming for a lot of people. We get amazing games for such a great price. Yet it's always great to hear this type of information from the people that actually matter at Xbox. Here's what's being said by Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, who seem to be stunned by how successful Game Pass is. Xbox executives stunned by strong Xbox Game Pass engagement. As part of the GDC fireside chat, Xbox head Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond sat down together to discuss the trends in gaming, including hybrid working, cloud development, and building inclusive cultures in the workplace. As part of the discussion, Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer espoused the phenomenal success of Xbox Game Pass. Sarah Bond states, "We are always stunned. We look at this data over and over again consistently. The engagement when it comes into a subscription goes up 8 times above where it was before, and members actually spend 50% more." Okay, so I'm going to put up the screenshot that's being shared around. As you can see, members of Game Pass play games across 30% more genres after joining the service. The data says that most gamers tend to stay at a handful of familiar franchises and genres they're used to, kind of like they stay with Call of Duty or Destiny. They don't play other genres or move out of what they're playing. Yet with Game Pass, 90+% of gamers try games they otherwise wouldn't play before. This is something that's been reported repeatedly by Xbox and even Xbox gamers like myself who play games across multiple genres, be it first-person shooters, third-person action adventures, party games, strategy games, and so many other genres. Because of this, we're seeing other publishers and companies follow suit into what Xbox is doing with Game Pass. Mainly Sony and other publishers that understand the subscription service like Game Pass is probably the future of gaming. Not to mention, it's extremely profitable to the publisher that has this out, which is what Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond bring up right here. Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer also alluded to how Xbox set the trend, which has seen its competitors follow suit, for which they are proud. We have our subscription, Sony has announced theirs, and I anticipate other platforms are going to do the same because it is so good for both developers and players. However, Phil Spencer was very quick to point out that Xbox does not simply see the subscription model as the one that is going to win. Many have commented on how Xbox's intent is really to push the Xbox Game Pass subscription service above everything else. Phil Spencer, however, stated the following: "I often get asked by developers if I'm not in the subscription, am I just not viable on Xbox anymore? It's absolutely not true. We look at retail, people selling games, buying games. It's an important part of our profit and loss." Okay, there's a lot to cover here, but it's worth us breaking down every single aspect of this. First of all, we know that Sony and other publishers are going to follow what Xbox is doing with Game Pass. That's a given. They announced their own tiers and subscription services, which from the looks of it, pale in comparison to what Xbox is doing, at least from Sony's side. Yet it's still something that Sony will have to do because the success rate of Xbox and Xbox Game Pass is very impressive, and they can't hide from these hard facts of the numbers that are coming out. In fact, Game Pass members are willing to invest in their experiences by a large margin, which this graphic shows right here. We all know that Xbox Game Pass drives engagement with gamers. That's plain to see, and it's something that's been proven through analytics and statistics, and not to mention business analysts that have talked about the service. Yet, that's not the only way gamers play games. We also buy games outright on our systems. which is what Phil Spencer is talking about right here. He mentions a concern that developers feel they need to be a part of Game Pass in order to be a part of the Xbox ecosystem and to reach gamers, when that's just not simply true. He mentions that retail sales and people selling and buying games on their platform is a big part of their profits and their profit losses. And if we look at this graph right here, we can see that Game Pass has completely contributed to the growth of independent studios getting their games off the ground. I mean, look at that 300+% growth from a time period of 2016 to 2020. You know, a time where we didn't have Game Pass, and to the time period where Game Pass was taking off. This obviously shows that independent game developers that might have a hard time getting off the ground can use Game Pass to propel their game to different gamers, and not to mention just get an audience under them. Yet I do have to say that Game Pass is different, and it's a different form of media consumption that we haven't seen before. I understand we'll compare it to Netflix and other streaming services out there because, hey, that's what subscription services are, and Netflix was the king of them for so long. But to me, it's a little different because gaming is such a unique way of consuming our entertainment, which is something that is brought up by Phil Spencer right here. Spencer also differentiated Xbox's model to other mediums, most likely owing to the prevalent comparisons to Netflix and Xbox Game Pass. And this is where I sometimes contrast against other forms of media that we get compared to, whether it's music, whether it's videos. I fundamentally believe a strength of us in the video game business is the diversity of business models and the strength of those. Definitely in Team Xbox, we invest in business models that developers are asking for and ensuring those are flourishing. This is the most telling part of the whole interview between Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer, because it indicates that Xbox is not only putting gamers at the center of everything they're doing, because we have to admit, Game Pass is such an awesome success because gamers find value in it, so that's why they're subscribed to it. But they're also listening to developers and what they want from the publisher. I mean, we know that multiple developers have come out and said they love Game Pass because it gives them an audience base they otherwise never would have had on their game. It's turned some developers to make exclusive games for Xbox because they'll launch on Game Pass and they see that as a success, plus Xbox gives them a bag of money to make their game exclusive, not to mention put it day one on Game Pass. Even Ubisoft has launched Extraction and other games on the service to get an audience base for their games. They've even put big games like Division on there just to get a player base going on the console or even on PC. And this was something that Todd Howard talked about when Xbox acquired ZeniMax. He mentioned that Game Pass was a big contributing factor into the decision to join Xbox. Of course, they had a great relationship with Phil Spencer and Microsoft in general, but I think having Game Pass is a major factor for them as well, because let's be real for a second here. Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online, Wolfenstein 2, and of course Wolfenstein Youngbloods could have used Game Pass from the start, and some of them did have it there from the start, like Fallout 4 went on there. Bethesda was a massive supporter of Game Pass before they even joined Xbox. Those games, while decent, didn't launch all that well and didn't get the audience they wanted. Yet it's Game Pass and great updates that pushed those games to have some form of success and have more gamers check them out. Bethesda saw the stats, Xbox saw the stats, and of course it made it a contributing factor for them to join into the Xbox and Microsoft ecosystem. And we've seen countless other independent developers talk about Game Pass helping them get far more people to play their games. I mean, just look at this graphic right here. Members of Game Pass play 40% more titles after joining Game Pass. I mean, this is pretty obvious to see that the type of engagement and success that Game Pass is having across gaming is infectious. We'll see copycats like Sony try to replicate the Game Pass with Spartacus. We've seen Ubisoft Plus on PC for a while now, which is great, and it's coming to console, Xbox console later. We've also seen EA try to do something like this. No matter what, we're going to see a lot of developers push the subscription service to people as an option, not as a way to only play your games. It's not going to take over everything. That's the best part about Xbox. These are just options for you to play your games the way you want to play them. If you want to play Gears of War on Steam and you want to do that on PC and buy it full price to put it into your collection, you could do that. Or you can buy it on Xbox and play it there. Or you can pay for a subscription and get the game on PC and Xbox, not to mention cloud. The amount of options on Xbox is a little staggering, and honestly, it's stunning. But after seeing these reported numbers and the amount of gamers playing more games, it's obvious that Game Pass and Microsoft have a giant here. And Xbox was one of the first companies to do this right. I know EA had EA Play and they brought their games to a subscription service after a year or so of the game being out. Yet it was Xbox that brought Sea of Thieves and all their first-party titles to the service day and date. That to me was the turning point in gaming, and it's honestly pushed gaming in a completely new direction, something that will continue to change the gaming world for this entire generation. Let's hope Game Pass sees continued success, and we also see more gamers join the service. Not to mention, we also see Sony trying to compete in the service and actually try to replicate it. Put your first-party games day and date in a service, because I guarantee you a lot of people signed up for that. Because so far, Xbox dominates the service department of gaming, and it's not even close. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about this. Are you surprised by what Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond talked about? Will these numbers finally shut people down? Is Xbox Game Pass going to grow even more once we get bigger games like Starfield in the service? What else can Game Pass do to grab even more gamers? Are you playing more games because of Game Pass? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, you guessed it, surprise, I'm playing Elden Ring. I just got to the capital, and I have to say it is massive. I was exploring the surface, jumping on buildings, going in streets, going down corridors, having a big old fun time. And then I went down this one little small ladder in a well, and I found this whole entire sewer system, basically a city under the city. It has like 2 dungeons in there, not to mention all these secret passageways. I've been in there for about 3 to 4 hours, just having a blast exploring. I'm not looking through guides. I'm not really trying to level up or grind. I'm just playing the game the way I want to play the game, which is exploring, finding cool things, and I want to be surprised of what's ahead. That's what I love about this game. It is the biggest open world I've ever played. It's probably one of the biggest games I've ever played, and I'm just having a great time with it. I know there's other areas I could explore, but right now I'm in the capital, and I'm probably going to be in there for a little while. I'm going to play it all weekend, and I'm just having fun with it. Trust me, play this game. And I kind of am looking forward to like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I don't know if I'll play it. I want to play it with co-op with my buddies, but we'll see. I know that comes out soon. But you know what? What are you playing? Are you playing something on your Game Pass? Are you playing something on your PS5, your Xbox, or are you on your PC playing something? Let me know down below, because that's what we're here for, is to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.